You are watching the Huddle Ninja here with Jason Anik, with Tony Farmer. And Jay, I asked you for 3 reasons why you think the Philadelphia Eagles will win Super Bowl 59. Not a statement that you're necessarily going to bet on this Eagles team, but 3 reasons that may play in favor of the green and white and on Super Bowl Sunday. So what stands out to you about this team, this matchup that falls into Philly's favor?
Basically a pick'em game. They most certainly could win. And the number one reason I believe they could win is Penn State Nittany Lion, the man who will turn 28 years old on Super Bowl Sunday. The man who, had he been given a chance, would have set the NFL's all-time single-season rushing record. I speak of Saquon, Rasul, Cuevas, Barkley, the first. Let's rewind back to Super Bowl 57 from 2 years ago. Chiefs 38, Eagles 35. Eagles were up 24-14 at the half. Running backs that day for Philadelphia included Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott. That day, those 3 men, 45 rushing yards on 17 carries. Not a great performance that day. Saquon Barkley, obviously not there. We gushed over him all year on the field, but I want to talk a little bit off the field. We talked about Sirianni in the locker room. Let's talk about Saquon Barkley in the locker room. And you don't hear a lot of people talking about his leadership off the field, except the New York Giants, who felt that void. Multiple players talking about what it was like in New York, feeling that loss on and off the field. Saquon is the pulse. I don't always love the body language and energy and even the leadership of Jalen Hurts. I think he keeps himself a little bit. I think Saquon galvanizes that locker room, makes them feel as though they can win, especially behind that offensive line. Many have talked about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith being the best wide receiver combo in the league. Saquon's so good, they don't need huge production from those guys week to week or even any week. I think if Kansas City can neutralize Saquon, they will win their 3rd straight. But I think Saquon is the number one reason why Philadelphia absolutely could win.
Strong agree. I think he's probably the 2nd best football player on the field at Super Bowl 59. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Is he the best running back in the league, Jason?
Yes.
Is he the best? He's the best running back since who?
Wow. I mean, I think Derrick Henry, who's currently playing, may be that guy as he sort of continued to evolve. That's a really difficult question. I think LaDainian Tomlinson is sort of underappreciated, but Saquon Barkley, to me, deserved to be the number 4 overall pick and has proved that every step of the way, barring some injuries, but pretty damn healthy. Tone?
Hey, I think you guys are forgetting about Christian McCaffrey last year. Madden cover, Christian McCaffrey, offensive player of the year. And logically and rationally, the way you beat the Chiefs is to have a good running game, right? Because if you can control the clock, you can keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. 49ers had that last year with Christian McCaffrey and couldn't get it done. The Ravens obviously have that ability with Derrick Henry, can't get it done. So that is the path to do it, though, I think, is you limit the Chiefs to 25 minutes with Patrick Mahomes, limit his possessions. It's just one of those things that's easier said than done.
And I'll certainly get to the possession with one of my other reasons, but my second reason for the Philadelphia Eagles to find a way for their fans, as much as I don't like their fans, it's that defense, that ridiculous defensive unit of the Philadelphia Eagles that has been the best in football. And many have criticized head coach Nick Sirianni. Not too much criticism for Vic Fangio running that defense. This defense doesn't resemble last year's defense at all. We talked about it all year. They've been the best defense. I love the depth at all 3 levels. Their draft picks from last year, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, picks number 22 and 40 overall. Yeah, deserve, immediately make impacts, both wise beyond their years. And Jalen Carter, the previous year at number 9, did you guys catch that eye poke of Taylor Biadasz, the center? He's just nasty. He reminds me of my favorite athlete of all time, Kevin Garnett. He don't want to be your friend. He don't want to even give you a hug after the game. I think Jalen Carter is him. And Tom Brady talked last week about Jaden Daniels facing that number 1 defense and what it is like for a quarterback facing that number 1 defense and those elite defense. There's just not a lot of room out there. Mahomes certainly may be able to figure it out, but my second reason, I think it's the best defense Mahomes will have faced all year. So that Philadelphia's defense will be the second reason that they hoist it.
Not only does Fangio sort of offset whatever shortcomings you or we may believe that Sirianni may have, let's not forget, this Eagles team was basically, one stop away from potentially winning the Super Bowl the last time these two teams met, and that was with Gannon as DC. So the upgrade there to one of the best in the game is monumental for this Philadelphia Eagles team. So a very interesting wrinkle on the field of play come Super Bowl Sunday. Jay, wrap it up here. What do you got for
Good
number
stuff
3?
there, and for them to get back to this big game, we haven't talked enough about that, right? Super Bowl, losing Super Bowl quarterbacks, getting back to that game. I don't know many that have done it. Jalen Hurts will be back. But my third reason, Tony alluded to this a little bit, is the game plan for Philadelphia. The Lombardi Trophy will be in New Orleans. I understand we're talking football, but I'm going to give you a little MMA analogy quickly. Shavkat Rakhmonov just won a title eliminator fight and is set to face Bilal Muhammad, the current welterweight champion, who's my friend. And Kenny Florian, former UFC fighter, said Bilal can figure out a way to beat that guy. And I believe with Philadelphia's game plan, they can figure out a way to beat this Chiefs team. We talked about the running game. Tony even stole my thunder a little bit. But I think the key is to make Patrick Mahomes sit and watch. I understand Philadelphia is explosive in the running game. And when, Washington had that 10-minute drive, 13-minute drive, and then Philly scores on the next play. I understand the explosivity can eliminate sort of eating that clock. But in that prior Super Bowl matchup 2 years ago, Philly held the ball for almost 36 minutes. Last week, 7 rushing touchdowns, 229 yards on the ground. And Tony talked about McCaffrey, but it's different. This Philadelphia team hits you in the mouth. It is a different running game. And that offensive line, yes, they're all banged up, Tony. Didn't matter much last week, right? Landon Dickerson moved over. Cam Jurgens, I think you said, Tony, I think they'll both be back. Jalen Hurts didn't look healthy to me last weekend. I think he'll look healthier. I love his poise, the way he controls the game. But Brady alluded to a lot of opportunities that maybe Jalen Hurts left on the football field where he would have let it go. I do believe part of this game plan, while it is eating the clock, has to be to open it up, play complementary football. I hope Jalen Hurts watched the film with the commentary so he could hear what Brady was saying. I think they need to take some shots down the field to really open up that game plan to make it how they want and run the football. But I believe there are paths for Philadelphia, and I believe that's why this game is a pick 'em, despite KC trying to go for their third in a row.